You know what this means, right? It's time for a road trip. Headed out to one of my favorite places, one of the toughest lakes in the country. That's right, Lake Mead for the U.S. Open. Going out there this year with one goal in mind, and that's to win. And I mean that. Like, I'm not just saying, hey, I want to go win a tournament. I want to go win the U.S. Open. It's a goal of mine, huge goal of mine. I'm packed up. I'm ready to go. Boat's hooked up. Truck's loaded. It's time to go get after it. I hope this series is as much fun for you as it's about to be for me, minus the 17-hour drive. But you know what? I'm going fishing, guys. I'm going fishing, and that's what it's all about. It's getting on the water so y'all can learn. Make sure you stay tuned to this series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Not going to have the usual crowd. I'm not going to have, Todd Castledine and Bradley Hallman and Scott Martin in the group. U.S. Open, guys. Let's go win it. Let's win it. Which way do we go, guys? We'll go up through Colorado, 20 hours? Or we go down through here? Let's go that way. 17 hours. 17 hours sounds a lot better than 20 hours. I think that's the way we're going to go. The only problem with going that particular way on I-40 is you stay on I-40 for like 800 miles. Which is a good thing if you're trying not to get lost. It makes the drive a lot more monotonous. But the cool thing about that drive is you drive through so many states and you see a lot of cool things. 17 hours and 12 minutes. It's a lot of driving. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be worth it. First place in this tournament, $100,000 plus a Bass Cat Puma, which is like a $70,000 boat. $170,000 worth of prizes. First place. Yeah, I'm there, guys. I'm headed there. I'm really excited. I don't really know what to expect at this one. So I've been to Lake Mead quite a few times now, and every time I go there, it's a little bit different. There was one time I got there and I really figured it out, throwing a Ned rig and a topwater. And then the next year I was like, man, I already know what to go do. I can go do it. But man, it changed. And then the next year it changed again. It's the weirdest place I've ever been to because everything you think you know, you don't. Because every single year it changes. It's literally at the exact same time of year every single year. But the lake changes. It can fluctuate 20 feet. I mean, it's just a crazy place. So you got to go into it with almost no expectation. You got to go out there and fish the conditions, fish what's in front of you, and that's what I'm going to do on this trip. I'm going to pick up some big baits, some hybrid hunters, some swim jigs, spinner baits, power fishing baits, and I'm going to figure out this bite one way or another. I got a good feeling about this tournament. I really do. I hope that feeling translates into $100,000 richer, though. That's the goal. $100,000. Let's go. The one thing about my job that's kind of unique is I travel all over the country. In this case, I stopped in Grant, New Mexico. Now, is Grant some big city? No, I honestly don't think I've ever stayed here before, but I want to show you something that's crazy. I've seen a lot of things in my day in a hotel. I've never seen this. I was going to film it last night, but the battery on my camera was dead. So, hopefully, no. I just heard somebody open the door, so I don't want to be like super awkward. Let's see. This is the elevator. Watch this. Watch. Okay, let's move on. Have you ever seen an elevator like this? This is the tiniest elevator I've ever been in, and B, you use a door to get into it. What in the heck? Now, I have traveled all over this country, and I've yet to ever see this in my entire life. This is a new one for me. Very new. And open. Weird.
Oh no, I thought it was like $3,000 each day and then like $5,000 on the last day. Or for like the big...
So, made it to Lake Mead. You know, the thing about Lake Mead, it's such a beautiful place. I mean, there's mountains everywhere. You're just so super isolated from the world, basically. My favorite part of Lake Mead is when I initially get here. Now, I just go and tell you, I've been at the U.S. Open now. This, I think, is my 4th time. I'm a huge fan of the One Bass U.S. Open. I've had dreams about it as a kid, is to fish this particular event. And the cool thing about Lake Mead is it's gigantic, and it changes every year. The fishing changes, everything changes. And I think that's kind of what lures me to it, is because it's such a tough place. But I can tell you one thing, my favorite view when I get here is the one I'm about to show you. It's a spectacular view, and it's one of the very best views that you get just about any place I've ever gone in my life. So, without further ado, you're going to see Lake Mead from my angle. My probably favorite angle that there is. So, here you go. This is on the initial drive into the park. This is what you see. I mean, you see this huge body of water. You see these mountains. You see all of this greatness around you. I mean, it's just breathtaking. It's just nothing like it in this world. It's just a phenomenal, phenomenal place. And excuse me for the dirty window. I have tried to get those bugs off for like basically the last 2 gas stations. I could have poured Coke on them. I know that's a little trick, but I didn't do that. So, yeah. Yeah, guys, that's Lake Mead. That's your first look at Lake Mead. Crossed over the Hoover Dam, or right around the Hoover Dam earlier, which is super cool as well. We made it here, but we haven't made it to where we're staying yet, and that is kind of a surprise. I think y'all are all gonna really like where we're staying, and we're gonna see how it goes down right after this. So, officially made it here to Lake Mead, and I'm about to check into my motel. Pretty excited about it. That's the one cool thing about this place. Get to stay on one of those houseboats. That's right, we're gonna be on a houseboat this week. It's nothing like staying on a houseboat on a body of water, especially a place as beautiful as Lake Mead. Let's get the boat idled over there, and we'll go check it out and see what we have in store for us this week. This, my friends, is how you pack for a houseboat. So you don't have to carry everything up and down that big hill. You just pack everything into your boat, clothes and everything. You just haul it on over your trailer or your houseboat. Makes the world a lot easier. You don't have to haul it down that gigantic hill right there. Yes. Oh, wait zone. Check this out. Oh yeah, we're rolling. So guys, we officially made it on the houseboat. Just got everything unloaded. Check this out. That's the living room, okay? We got couch, chair, another big couch, huge table to eat at. Nice sized kitchen with all the goodies. Big old refrigerator. Here's my room. It ain't bad. Not bad at all. And we have 2 special guests with us this week, or I'm actually with them. I don't know how it goes. Like, I'm with them or they're with me. Anyways, we're staying in the same place together. I'll reveal that here in just a few minutes. Meantime, check this out. I mean, gosh, guys, look at this thing. It's crazy. There's nothing better than staying on a houseboat. The only bad thing about staying on a houseboat is on days when it's windy. It kind of like, it'll rock you to sleep, but if it's really windy, it will mess with your head a little bit. Like, you don't get seasick or anything, but it will throw you off just slightly. But I mean, check out this view, guys. Look at that. Where else can you get that? That's one reason why I come to Lake Mead every single year. This year is going to be a little different. I mean, mainly because I literally have to drive straight from here to Neely Henry. But I mean, I got to show you this. Like, I don't know. I've been here so many times now. it still takes my breath away when I look at stuff like this. I mean, this is my window. Look at this, man. This is why I do blog. This is honestly, when I looked at my YouTube stuff and like thinking about doing YouTube and all that, I think about all the cool places I've been all across this country, and I've been to all of them. It seems like now. I mean, there's some lakes I hadn't been to in the United States, but for the most part, if it's a really big one, I've been there. And truly, this lake, Lake Mead, is one of those all-inspiring, like, take your breath away at sunset kind of places. The people here at Colville Bay, they aren't paying me to do this. I want to just show you this because if you do get that chance for a family vacation, if you do get that opportunity to go somewhere that it's not just about catching bass, and I know all of you are like, man, all I want to do is catch a bass. Guys, what I've learned traveling all across the country, some of the very best bass fishing places are some of the ugliest places in the world. And I'm not saying this is one of the worst, because this is just a really tough place to catch fish. But day in and day out, when you look out across these mountains and you see the wildlife, you'll see coyotes, you see goats, big like wild goats, wild donkeys. I mean, it's just the craziest place I've ever been. Actually, earlier I tried to get a little bit of footage of a roadrunner. I mean, we all, you see a roadrunner in a zoo, but it's just when you see it in the wild, it's just like a different deal. But I'm going to show you one more time, and I imagine I'm going to show you a lot this week. Like, it looks like I'm just like filming a picture on the wall. But, I mean, that's truly the scenery around this lake. Like, it is that pretty. It's that pretty. But I mean, I brought my dad out here. I've actually brought him out here a few times now, and he wasn't able to make it this year because of COVID. Otherwise, he'd have been here. I mean, he could care less about the fishing. He loves this area, and I know why. I mean, it's just a beautiful place. So if you get a chance, guys, come to Lake Mead. I mean, maybe next year you fish the U.S. Open. If you're a fisherman and you like to fish, and you live in Texas, Oklahoma, anywhere in the central part of the United States, it's not that far a drive. It took me like 17 hours. I can drive, it takes me 17 hours to get to Florida, 18 hours to get to Florida, 20 hours. It takes me 25 hours to get to New York. I mean, so when you start looking at things, it's not as far as what people really think. 17 hours in a truck is hard. I mean, it takes you a couple days, 2 days. I mean, you can do it in a day, but I just wouldn't recommend it. But when you get out here, the air's thin. It's really nice. And you just see stuff you never got to see before. Because this is a special place for me. This is a special tournament for me. This isn't just like show up and fish a tournament and go home. Like, this is something I had dreams about this when I was a kid. Looking at results from the U.S. Open, because I'm a bass head, man. I'm like any of y'all. I just like bass fishing. You see guys like Rick Clunn won this thing multiple times. Clifford Perch won this thing multiple times. Aaron Martins won this thing. I don't know. I think he's won it a few times. Those are guys. This is where they cut their teeth. This is what's made them really good, versatile anglers, is because they come to places that are hard. They don't just go to the best places in the world to go catch bass. They don't go to Okeechobee every time, or Chickamauga, or Toledo Bend, or Sam Rayburn. They go to places that a 10-pound bag of 5 fish is a pretty good day for the most part. Because the thing is if you can respect it and you can come out here and grind out 10 pounds a day, you've done something. I mean, a good friend of mine, and one that we travel with, Bradley Holman, he's come out here the last few years. He just couldn't make it this year. Otherwise, he'd be sitting at this table with me right now. He was messing with me earlier, a couple days ago, and he was saying that I was like a Terminator. It didn't matter how long I had to drive or where I had to go, I wanted to go fish bass tournaments, and that's the truth. I like to fish tournaments. I like a challenge. I want a place that, like, when I leave there, I'm like, man, that was hard. That was a grind. And it makes you appreciate all the times when you do go catch 30 pounds or 20 pounds or 15, even 15 pounds. Because that's not a given here. It's not a given in a lot of places. I mean, go to Beaver Lake. Beaver Lake is not the easiest place in the world to fish. Yeah, you can catch some fish. It's definitely easier than Lake Mead, I can tell you that. But you come to a place like here that is challenging. It pushes you. You got to push back, and it pushes back again. I mean, we're talking about winds right now. when they talk about wind speed on this lake, I mean, they get 40-mile-an-hour winds, and there aren't any trees around to stop this wind. I mean, it comes down this lake and it gets big, real big. I really hope you like this video, and maybe you don't. And if you don't, I'm sorry. This is a different deal for me. It's just different. So, but yeah, guys, that is my view for the week. It's awesome. Awesome. Hey, look, there's a bird. Alright guys, practice is officially starting for me. I get 4 days, which is kind of unreal because typically I get like 2 to 2.5, 3 days. So it's nice to have a couple extra days here. This is a gigantic lake, first off. But what my goal is, like I told you earlier, my goal here is to capture the beauty of this place. I want you to really understand why I come here. I don't have to come to this tournament. This is not a tournament that is a mandatory tournament for me. This is a choice tournament for me, and it isn't just because I feel like I can go win $100,000. I mean, you can. Technically, you can win $100,000 in a brand new Bass Cat boat, which is pretty awesome. And I might add for a $1,600 entry fee. And to put it in perspective, I won $100,000 last year at Lake Cherokee fishing the FLW Tour, and my entry fee was $5,000. So in this particular event, I can win $100,000 plus a brand new boat for paying like $1,600. A humongous difference. They've definitely got it figured out here. So I'm gonna take you along for the ride, and I really hope you enjoy this as much as I do.